analysis of ceasefire allegations and clashes in the Israel-Iran tension, and the recently escalating tension between Israel and Iran, which has evolved into a direct military conflict. No lasting and effective ceasefire has been achieved. A ceasefire announced by President Donald Trump on June 24, 2025, which briefly appeared to be confirmed by the parties, effectively collapsed within its first hours amid mutual accusations and new attacks. This process is a reflection of the deep-seated hostility, distrust, and the dangerous dynamics of a conflict evolving from a proxy war to a direct confrontation. The ceasefire attempt and its immediate collapse background, direct conflict and heavy losses. The approximately 12-day period preceding the ceasefire attempt witnessed the end of the shadow war between Israel and Iran and its transformation into an open war. The conflict's dimension changed when Israel launched large-scale airstrikes against Iran's nuclear facilities and strategic military points, with the U.S. reportedly participating with B-2 stealth bombers. Iran retaliated with multi-layered responses involving hundreds of ballistic missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles. These clashes resulted in hundreds of casualties on both sides and significant material damage. Trump's ceasefire announcement, amid rising tensions and the risk of a wider regional war, President Donald Trump made a surprise announcement on June 24, 2025, stating that a complete and total ceasefire had been reached between Israel and Iran. Following this announcement, reports emerged that Iran had accepted the proposal through Qatar's mediation, and the Israeli government also stated it would adhere to the ceasefire. Immediate accusations of violations. The process became unworkable just minutes after the ceasefire was supposed to take effect locally. Israel's claim: the Israeli military alleged that missiles were fired from Iranian territory toward Israel despite the start of the ceasefire, reporting that sirens had sounded in northern regions. Iran's denial and counter-accusation. Iranian state media categorically denied the missile launch claim. The Tehran government, in turn, accused Israel of not complying with the ceasefire and continuing its attacks. Contradictory statements. The fragility of the process was further highlighted by conflicting statements from Iranian officials, while some sources confirmed the agreement. Then Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi complicated the situation by stating that no agreement was in place. Analysis of the process and reasons for failure. An analysis of this short-lived ceasefire process reveals several key points: deep mistrust and hostility, decades of enmity, which recently escalated into direct war, have completely eroded the minimum trust necessary for any ceasefire to succeed. Both sides operated on the worst-case assumption that the other would not adhere to the truce. Military posturing and the last-word effort. For the parties involved, a ceasefire could be perceived as a sign of weakness. Therefore, both Israel and Iran sought to demonstrate their deterrence and gain a psychological advantage by taking military action just before or after the ceasefire, fundamentally contradicting the silencing of guns principle. The limited impact of external actors. While the mediation of an actor like Donald Trump exerted momentary pressure, it was insufficient to change the fundamental dynamics on the ground. The national security perceptions and strategic objectives of the parties outweighed the external call for a ceasefire. Consequences of the shift from shadow war to direct conflict. This process clearly showed that the indirect war waged through proxies has now transformed into a direct state-on-state conflict. In this new phase, controlling tensions and finding diplomatic solutions has become much more difficult. In conclusion, the alleged ceasefire between Israel and Iran was a failed attempt that ended before it even began, clearly exposing the mutual distrust and the intent of the parties to continue the conflict. This process demonstrates the dangerously high level of tension in the Middle East, and shows that, without a permanent solution, the risk of a wider and more devastating regional war remains ever present.